So
before
angry,
we start this
man.
story. I'm
I
not
know,
saying
man.
nothing. Whatever, bro. You be tripping and shit. Talking bad about my mama and shit. I mean,
What?
damn.
No. No.
That's
No.
totally
You
what
still heard him.
happened. Oh,
They
yep,
was
I
in here
heard it.
talking bad.
Mhm.
They was in his bag talking about my mama, right? And I was like, you ain't gonna talk bad about my mama up in here, without me saying something, and it was
See?
like, well, what you got to say? Well, I agree about it. Everything you said.
Even the internet connection is showing that you're lying because you hadn't had a bad signal or anything this whole time. Everything was clear and great. And you're like, he's talking about my mom. Yeah.
They know.
We're gonna have to figure this out.
They know.
Oh yeah.
Speaking about they, we are talking about The Cabin in the Woods, which is the they movie when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a special guest on today.
Hey, everybody.
Who's
That's
that?
Brendan from Upkick MMA.
Super excited to be here.
We're excited to have you here.
The
Deb.
the Debs, the Cobwebs.
Brendan. Yeah. And we're talking about the them movie today, the Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, this movie isn't a classic scary movie, which is why I can stomach it. I've told Cobweb before that I am not a fan of horror in general because I'm a baby. I had a bad experiences when I was a kid, and it terrified me, so I can't handle horror movies. They still mess with me. This one plays on the genre enough, even though there's some classic horror elements, that I can watch it and enjoy it for what it is. Whereas with a lot of horror movies, I can't.
I can understand that. It's a movie that's very self-aware of what it is. But you know what I'm waiting for, right?
Yeah. Josh, can you do me a favor?
What's that, bro?
Can you hit the intro?
Warning. This podcast is about the horror genre, specifically horror films. As most horror movies are filled with coarse language, violence, and/or gore, the topics and language of the cast of the pod will also reflect the genre. If you have any issues with the aforementioned warnings, please press stop. However, if you have no issue with adult language, movie violence, or the accoutrement that accompanies horror films, please feel free to continue. You have been warned.
So there you go. All the social medias for Cast of the Pod are at Cast of the Pod. Then, of course, you got Cobweb at Cobweb411, Brendan at Upkick_MMA, and then me and Deb, fine. You can hit us up on Cast of the Pod. You don't need the other ones that we have written up there.
Every time I hear that intro, when he puts it together, he's like coarse language and or gore. It always sounds like and Al Gore to me.
Well, because it's on the internet, so just
yeah. Well, he invented
the internet.
The way it works.
Yeah. I miss Al Gore. What is Al Gore doing now?
I don't know.
He's
Probably
interneting.
fleecing a bunch of people for money.
The thoughts and views of Brendan do not necessarily represent the thoughts and views of anyone else on Cast of the Pod. You gotta be careful nowadays.
He's like, I want to spread a message, but I also want to make money doing it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh man. So
much change.
I was specifically waiting for Cobweb for this one because last week it was like, fine, I'll play it. And the look on his face when he was like, man, that's what I normally say. I normally, key in the intro, and I took it away from him and I felt bad. So this whole week, that's what's been on my mind. Make sure Cobweb calls the intro. Don't jump the gun.
Well,
don't take that away from him.
No, because I only have that much, and he's got that 33.4%. So with that percent, he's always, you can't give him an inch. You give him an inch, he's gonna take a mile, Dab. You give him a piece of rope, he's gonna be a cowboy. That's as simple and plain.
Yep.
I've only got the one thing. Don't take the one thing.
Exactly. You know, I mean, what else do you want me to do? I mean, like, geez, I don't have that much.
You could do the
I'm like, yeah,
voiceover
we
for
equal
the
partners.
intro, and then you have to do it every time.
But you know what though? Since there's 4 of us here today, bringing up the 33.3%, you know what I'm going to go ahead and do?
Uh-oh.
We're going to get into the percentages. I'm still going to keep 33.4, but then that splits, 22.2 between the 3 of y'all.
Oh, I don't deserve that much. I'll take 1/4%.
I don't mind.
Yeah,
Actually, I'll take 0.6. That way, it makes them an
mind.
even 33.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, I mind. What? I mind. I mean, I
Okay,
don't
well,
wanna
you
be
can
shrunken
keep
down.
yours, and I'll share mine. There, happy.
0.3 then. I'll take it
Okay, I'm
for
feel
what
like a
little I
boss now.
contribute.
You and Josh can keep y'all's percent.
Hey, I've still got that point 33.4.
That's what I'm saying. You and Cobweb can keep y'all percent. I'll share mine. I have no
Alright.
problem with it.
Thanks, the Debs. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
The Debs. Hey, so I heard Cobweb told you that Chucky was a real person.
I sure did. He sure did. He tried to convince me over and over again. I was like, I don't think so. But he's like, oh no, and I'm like, you sure it's not a bit? And he's like, nah. I'm like, okay.
The sad thing is sometimes Chucky appears like as we're driving down the road, and you might think that he's a real person because we have full blown conversations, him
Yeah.
and I, not Deb
They
and
do.
him, but him and I. But
Yeah. And I'm just looking at him like, what are you doing?
who, Chucky?
He's like, what? Both of y'all.
Oh,
He changes his reactions
I
on his face.
anyway.
See, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking more or less like I grew up in the era of Humpty Hump. So you never knew, like with Digital Underground, the big thing was with Humpty Hump and Shock G, people were thinking it was 2 different people.
Hey, spoiler! Spoiler
You mean there
alert!
wasn't
What if
2
I
people?
didn't know? What if I didn't know Shock G was Humpty Hump, and you just
30-year-old spoilers.
stole that? Yeah, you stole it from me.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that Superman is what's his face?
See, she don't even know.
In the movie with the shark, they don't catch it in the beginning. That's not the right one. They caught the wrong one at the beginning of the movie. The
Like
waters aren't safe. He's coming back.
Like I said, in the era of Humpty Hump, we keep it going. We just keep it going. We kayfabe it.
Whoa,
Kayfabe.
I don't know what kayfabe is. What is that?
Exactly.
Well,
that's why Brendan was like, "Hey, man." Now the funny part was he really believed me for a while. That was the funny part. He believed me for a while.
It's
I had him
it's
going.
the fact that I trust you as a human being, and I thought you were being honest with me. Like we see each other quite often, and there's a level of trust there, and I thought we had it, and now we lost it. So there's that.
It's gone.
I said the same thing because I thought the Cobweb was my very good friend, but then he told me that he wasn't really the Brendans, and I was like, "But I thought you were the same guy." But now you're really 2 guys instead of just him. So now the Cobwebs, he was lying.
We do sound pretty similar, so I could see how you would make that mistake. But
yeah.
No, 2 different people.
Yep.
Okay.
You say you were lying to him.
We got to get to this movie because
movie
we're
are we
already
doing?
2 hours into the pod already.
Hey, I
what are
thought
we
we were
doing
just
today?
having a conversation. It's fun.
Cabin in the Woods. What did you guys think of this movie?
Thanks, Brendan. You know what really surprised me about it, and I didn't think about it until I brought up the IMDb on it. This movie came out in 2011.
Did.
Before the end of the world.
Yes.
Before social media ruined us all.
Yes, it also came out. Spoilers. We put out a spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to put it, we can talk about it as it goes up in the movie, but this was actually produced before Chris Hemsworth was famous. he had not made it big with Thor yet. They did not know what they had, and you can tell by what happens in the movie. Like, they didn't know what they had with him in it, and somewhere along the lines, it got lost in the shuffle, and then he became famous, and the studio was like, "Hey, we got this movie sitting here. Let's just release this one, see what we can get out of it."
Yeah, what happened was MGM went bankrupt, and then this movie sat in the can on a shelf for a couple of years, and he actually got the role for Red Dawn, the remake of Red Dawn,
Oh, that's right. Yes.
because of this movie and the people behind the scenes that had already seen it. That's why they got it for Red Dawn, and it just Thor came out, and then Lionsgate picked it up, and
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, the pacing of this movie is fantastic. I was never bored. I've seen it a few times now. I'm never bored when I'm watching it. It feels like everything's going on. They are shuffling a lot of themes and a lot of story, and they put it all in, and it feels, how do I say this? It feels natural, right? It doesn't feel like they're just shoving stuff in there. Like, it wasn't all cut up in the editing room. Even if it might have been, they did a really good job.
hey, Cobweb,
Yo.
I completely forgot that Brendan is a person that stays on task, and he has like that focus.
Dude, man. It's like
I'm starting to get like a little pain right here.
bro.
Right here.
All right, let's go to the notes. Let's talk about what happened at 5 minutes and 35 seconds.
No, we're not doing that today.
I don't have timestamps, but I just take notes as the thing's going on because there's important moments in the movie that I like to remember.
What does the MDiv say, Josh?
5 friends go on a break at a remote cabin. When they get more than that's punctuation. 5 friends go for a break at a remote cabin where they get more than they bargained for, discovering the truth behind the cabin in the woods. That's it.
It doesn't give you much.
You don't want to spoil it in the description, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to spoil there. I agree.
I completely forgot that the movie started off in the lab.
Yep.
That would have tripped me out in the movie. Who made it? MGM, and the directors were Drew Goddard.
No. Who picked this?
Who wrote it?
No,
Brendan.
Brendan picked it.
Brendan picked it. Brendan, you sure about this one? That this was pod worthy.
Yeah, this is a good movie, and it's a horror movie.
Okay. We'll see when those scores come out.
All right.
Spoiler alert, it's going to be high for me.
I'm going to throw a Chucky out there. I'll throw a 40 bomb out. I don't care. I will weight those scores like crazy.
Uh-oh.
No, Joss Whedon was a writer on this, man.
I don't think you're allowed to say his name in public.
Oh, am I not?
Yeah, even towards by yourself in a room by yourself. I think he's been canceled even privately. Yeah.
Oh well.
I heard he was mean. So that means he gets canceled.
You know,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to a lot of like gossip stuff or the trades and the news when it comes to those things. I like to enjoy movies and enjoy what's presented to me and not hear about everybody's personal lives.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But hey, that's why we're here in our safe space at Castle the Pod where we can do that.
So Cobweb. What's the first thing that stuck out to you for this movie?
This shit was fucked up. And it broke a lot of tropes. And that the stoner dude laughed to the end. I thought, spoiler alert, that shit was fucking cool. Just when you thought it was over, this guy's right there, you know? And I was like, he's the coolest guy out of this whole movie. Normally, they're the first people that get gone because they're the fool. But yet and still, this guy right here. Yeah, still, this guy was there all the way to the end. And he was the hero of the freaking movie. You know? I thought that was pretty freaking sweet. And it was because he was smoking all that doggone weed that was the reason why he wasn't affected by their chemicals. I loved it. His character. I love his character.
So to anybody who may have not seen this movie, it starts off just like a stereotypical, just tropish, like you're saying, Cobweb horror movie where 5 friends, you have their words, not mine. You have the whore, the athlete, the scholar, the virgin, and the fool. And they're all friends, and they're all going out to Thor's cabin, his cousin's cabin in the woods.
Yeah. I don't even think he
And
has a cousin.
Yeah, at the end, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Then you find out as all this is happening, and the redneck killer torture family zombies are trying to kill them. You come to find out that there's this whole organization, the they, that are sacrificing lives to keep greater evils from the earth. And that's why these tropes happen. And that's, I mean, when you think about it in the movie, they're kind of in a shared horror universe with everything. And maybe that's what I took away from the movie, that's why horror movies happen. That's why these things happen, because it's all planned out just to make sacrifices to the old gods so they don't come and pillage the earth. That's what I took from it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't think about that in that sense, but that does make sense.
It did make a lot of sense, because I thought it was like, when I thought about it, it was like why would they have to do it like that? Because they were I guess the demons or whatever, something like that. They wanted to have the sacrifice. You had to sacrifice them to them. It was kind of weird, why they had to choose that they had to do this that way, and why they just didn't grab a bunch of these crazy fools and then, just whack them off.
They quoted that. He said that in the movie. Remember? He's like, "Remember when you could just throw a girl in a volcano?"
Oh yeah.
Right.
And he goes like, "How old do you think I am?"
Good old days. Throwing young virgins in volcanoes. Where do we come from?
I could have sworn that when I first saw this movie back in the day, I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I could have sworn it was towards the end. Instead of, I knew the stoner was going to come back and save the day, because when they set off because they break the little glass whatever things, and they drain the blood into their what's the word I'm looking for? Their effigy.
Mm-hmm.
That's there. And when they did that's when everything started shaking. That's when whatever creature or god or whatever got upset, because they knew he wasn't dead.
I didn't even think about that. Like, that didn't even.
Yeah, because that the fool is when they broke that, and that's when everything shook. He wasn't dead. So, anyways, but man, I lost my point. Damn it, Deb.
It's okay.
When you haven't watched it in a long time.
Oh yeah. I could have sworn that what ruined it at the end was that she wasn't a virgin. That the virgin wasn't a virgin.
Yeah.
So was that even gonna?
You remember what's Sigourney Weaver? Do you remember what she says?
No.
Like, we get what we can.
Yeah, it was like
we
work with what we got.
So like, since she wasn't a virgin, so she wasn't. If she wasn't a virgin, was it gonna work?
Yeah, so she was basically saying that, like, hey, we work with what we got. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly by the book.
Compared to the quote unquote whore, she was a virgin.
Yes.
But I just got it right now.
Well,
you know what I was thinking about? Cobweb, do you know what movie I was thinking about? Monster Squad.
Oh yeah.
Where she wasn't a virgin at the end and it didn't work. Oh man. I'm getting too old.
That would have. I thought that was pretty cool. If they would have been smart, they would have let the stoner be the one to live through the whole thing, and killed her off.
But the virgin has to
live.
Be
the
last.
Virgin has to live. The virgin has to be last.
Virgin's death is optional as long as she suffers.
Right, man.
So what do you have in your notes, Brendan?
So the 4 quotes, we already went through a couple of them. My favorite one from Marty, he has 2 of my favorites. One of them is like, "I'm my own person. You can't control me. I'm gonna go for a walk." As the voices are telling him to go outside.
To go and walk.
Yeah. Go outside. Go for a walk. And then the other one is like when he comes back up, when they go back into the grave, right? And he goes, "Yeah, I had to dismember a guy with a trowel. What have you been up to?" It's so casual. And I love the office setting. It's just a job. It's just a job.
Right.
And that like the first fake out ending, they're all happy and they're throwing a party. It's just work. Like there's a guy hitting on a girl like, "Hey, I was thinking maybe since I like this," and she just walks away.
Walks away.
It's so monotonous and boring, and it really shows you like, yeah, this is just what they do for a living. Like some people go crunch numbers. These guys kill like virgins and stuff.
Yeah.
And it brings up the whole morality of it. I mean, you're just at work. You're saving billions or you're killing off 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes. It was whoa, I know you really like ballet and your favorite ballets in town. I just happen to have to okay. When she just walks off.
Man.
I do want to point out though that out of the 4 of us, Brendan's the only one wearing a Cast of the, I almost forgot the name of our podcast, Cast of the Pod t-shirt there. Look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty tight.
We should be ashamed of ourselves.
If you're not a member already, get on the Patreon so you can get a spot on the bus.
There you go.
Yep.
I was actually having that conversation with Sean. He was talking about reserving him.
Man, I gotta go.
We need to do that movie one of these days.
Heck yeah, we should. The
Brendan,
origin
do you
story.
know the name of that movie? It's The Car. That's it. That's the name of it. The Car.
It sounds familiar, like I've watched a review on it or something, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
I was going to bring up real quick since we were talking about Marty. Cobweb, did you see any of the IMDb notes on it?
No, I didn't watch any of that stuff. I rely on you to give me all that information.
Awesome. That's cool. This is the funny thing about it. Also like how y'all brought up that Chris Hemsworth Thor wasn't Thor at this point, but his name was Marty. I call him Shaggy because he reminds me of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Do you know why he was the only person not to jump in the lake?
He didn't know how to swim?
Because he didn't know how to swim?
No, because the actor apparently is ripped like a brick shithouse. And he was in better shape than Thor and the other guy, the guy from. Speaking of which.
You can tell when he's covered in blood and he's beating the crap out of the dude and like he's got like the blood on him and stuff. You can tell like he's jacked.
Yeah. So they put him in baggy clothes and they didn't let him get in the water because they didn't want anybody. He had to be the stoner nerd look. But I was gonna say, Cobweb, I know you say you don't know anything about Grey's Anatomy, but you're getting tied to all these movies that have Grey's Anatomy actors in them.
Who's it?
Yep.
I don't know about Grey's
Holden,
Anatomy, dude. I keep telling you, man. Why you be who's
Holden?
Who's
the scholar.
I thought we were talking about.
Oh,
he was in Grey's Anatomy.
Him?
Yeah, the scholar.
He was the least important person in the movie. I thought he could have died a long time ago. I don't even
remember. He was in translation.
He was whack.
Between him and the guy with the saw blades in his face, they have the sweetest eyes. Like when that guy shows up, with the ball and he like looks at him, I'm like, he looks so kind. Like his eyes, he does not look mean or scary. It looks
with these
like
buzzsaws in his head. He's
like his face, like they did not make him. He's not a mean looking dude.
Do you know what the character's name was? With the buzzsaws in his head?
No.
Fornicus.
Okay, well, that grosses me out a little bit. But also goes with the kind eyes thing. All right, now that makes it creepy.
Dude, man, I thought that was like what is that guy the homage they did to Evil Dead, with the zombies when they were downstairs in the basement picking out the stuff that what their actual thing was. Yeah, and it seems so much like Evil Dead Rising, when she's sitting up there reading the stuff and he's telling her stop reading it. No, don't read it.
I draw the line at Latin. Don't read it.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, why would you read it?
They said, I don't know. I don't know. How would you say it out loud? And it tells you what it's going to do. And she did it anyway. And that's just what they got. I thought that was so cool to me because that was like straight Evil Dead Rising, like, and I love that movie. So
I'm gonna
I
have to
thought they
say
did
it.
a little bit of what?
I'm gonna have to say it. It's not very politically correct, and I know we try to avoid situations like that, and especially me trying to avoid saying stuff like this. But that's why even the scholar was a light-skinned gentleman, because saying all this stuff and picking up the way you're going to be brutally murdered, that's some WPS right there. It goes back to the whole trope. Eddie Murphy said it. He was like, "Oh, listen to that, the chainsaw it's down in the basement. Let's go find out what it is."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
And then they had to have the cabin out in the woods because if it would have been in Texas, people would have had guns. They're just,
It was a trope fest. it was a trope fest, but they tore down the walls on it a little bit.
But they explain why those tropes exist. Like they put dye, or they put the something in the dye when she made her hair blonde
to make her a dumb blonde,
make her dumber. They they tainted the guy's weed, which is funny because he's been smoking so much that he's immune to it.
Well, no, he had smoked so much that he had a bag that wasn't tampered with, and the one that was tampered with was something they hadn't seen before, and that made him immune to everything they were poisoning him with.
Yeah, and he was like, and then they pump pheromones out when they're out in the woods. And they pump the stuff to make Chris Hemsworth say stupid crap. Like immediately, he's like, "Okay, we need to stick together." And then you're like, watch the master work, and then he flips a switch. He walks, and he's like, "Wait, this isn't right. We need to split up. We can cover more ground that way."
It was aerosoled testosterone to make him jockier.
Yeah. And Marty points it out. He's like calling me a nerd. It's just like he's never done that. Like that makes no sense.
It didn't, but they were playing him like a fiddle. Honestly, tell the truth. And I kind of like the concept that they had so many evil creatures in there, that they just shuffle them around to where whoever they want to come out and destroy these people. And it's I can tell you this right now. I didn't understand why they didn't have better security here at that plant. There was no fail safe. What was code black? What is that? They didn't do shit. I'm like, if you got code black, this motherfucker need to be on lockdown. It's like something crazy about to happen off, but they didn't have anything to stop in case anything thought about what would happen.
Why do they have 8 or 10 elevator doors? Why would they ever need to let that many out at once?
I don't understand. Josh, explain. I don't understand.
Because it looks good on film.
No, why was it so easy for her to flip the switch to open all the gates?
Yeah, they had that one.
Was that so easy?
Well, it had the fail-safe plastic trigger guard over it. That's all you need. Unless
and it opened all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah, now that you say that, what is the practical purpose of releasing all of the things? Because it's not just once. They have to filter in, let them out, filter another set in, let them out, and you just keep repeating until all the monsters are out. What is the practical purpose of that?
With one switch. I mean,
we got to clean all the cages. Clean all the cages. We got to empty this out. Send the janitor in. I wouldn't want more than one button. Just press one.
The same
cleaning shit.
The same engineer that put the bad port on the Death Star in Star Wars designed the fail-safe mechanism for a cabin in the woods.
That about makes sense.
Maybe it was for if they thought that they got figured out and people from outside were trying to attack them, so they had that. So if they opened it, all the monsters can go and they'll attack whoever's outside.
I would agree with you if they had better doors, because they seem to get through that blast door pretty easy. Because at one point, they're holed up in that little command center, and there's a bang on the door. And then the next scene, the one dude's the guy who gets eaten by the mermaid. Hilarious, by the way.
That was
That was the highest scored scene in the test audience. That was the test audience's favorite scene out of everything that happened in the movie. The guy that wanted a merman getting eaten by a merman.
Yes. But the very next scene, after there's one bang on the door, the very next scene, he's firing a submachine gun. The security dude's getting eaten, or is he getting beaten up by people with cloth, like burlap sacks over their heads? Then he does the grenade.
Ooh.
You know, the sacrifice grenade.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that happens immediately after there's like a bang on the door. So that door did not last very long. So I would agree with you if it was a fail-safe to like clear out in case they got infiltrated, if they had a better security system, which they do not.
No, they didn't. Who would you, if all of those creatures in there, all right, you guys sign off, which one scared you the most by getting eaten by or just killed by? Because there was a lot.
So you're saying which one of those would we want to leave? The one that we wouldn't want to get killed by? The worst possible.
Yes.
Kevin.
Kevin?
Yeah, if you look on the board, one of them was Kevin.
What was Kevin?
Kevin was have you seen Sin City?
A long time ago.
That's Elijah Wood's character, the little nerdy kid that was a psychopath that
turned yellow.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
He was in there?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There was a giant snake, which, again, how did they fit it in a box? But whatever.
That cobra scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, but you're going to die quick with that.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't say that. When the clown sucked, like the clown sucked real bad, especially like how slow he moved. Don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Zombies are so boring.
Mm-hmm.
The werewolf. Then it was like some family or something.
That
like
was good. That was good at the end, man. The way they did that, because they show her like have that, you know, the lack of faith or the change of heart when she like goes to take out Marty to basically save the world, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turns around, sees the werewolf right behind her, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry too."
Yeah.
But then again, the torture zombies, everybody got killed off real quick, right?
That's true.
Except for the Virgin. He beat the shit out of her for like 4 minutes for Marty to come back and save the day.
Yes.
Yeah. And like he threw her around. Like I thought she would have broken her back or something from the way he was manhandling her, like just throwing her around and falling.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that bat thing looked pretty bad because that doesn't look like a fast death.
No.
Honestly, the mermaid's probably the worst.
That's
of the ones that I remember. Yeah. And then it blasts out of the blowhole. It blasts the blood out of there. Like,
yeah.
Interesting design choice.
I think mine would have. Mine would have been the zombies in the beginning, only because I'm not fast and they had those things that they would throw, so they would catch me.
Yes,
yeah. They would catch me right away.
Scorpion from Mortal Kombat bear traps.
Yeah.
Get over here.
So they would have. I would have been like the first one.
So this is pretty cool, especially if you're a gamer. So if you look at when they're showing all the different creatures, they have a tank, a witch, a boomer, and a hunter. These are 4 different types of infected from Left 4 Dead. And they were supposed to do a crossover for Left 4 Dead with the movie where you're actually at the cabin and you're in the lab and all that. But MGM went bankrupt, so they never did the crossover DLC for it.
Oh my God. That would have been so cool. I was a big Left 4 Dead fan. I played that game relentlessly. 1 and 2 every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. It was Left 4 Dead 2. I had all your achievement unlocked for Left 4 Dead.
Nice.
Every single one.
Oh, I changed my mind. It's the robot thing with the saw blade on its tail.
Saw blade on the tail.
Yeah, that thing. Don't like it. Because
Yeah,
I don't know if
See,
that's
like,
going to be a quick one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I didn't. The mermaid thing that scared the hell out of me because it was a slow, painful death. Anything where they're laughing or being eaten or alive or something like that is not good. Like the werewolf and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to be eaten. That's a fear of mine. I don't want to be eaten alive. So if anything like that is going to
That's
eat
a
me
good
alive,
fear to
I'm
have, I
gonna be-
think.
yeah,
it is.
that's pretty rational.
Yeah,
I think that's
right. So
it's
when I see
ingrained in our
movies like that,
DNA.
right, when I see movies with things being eaten alive and people, that's like 10 to me. So to me, when that thing with that merman thing, and when it was biting him, it was like that's like a slow, painful death of this thing gnawing at you, biting on you, and chewing on you. I
Giant
can't do
snake.
it,
That's the
man.
way to go. Unless it just swallows you and you're alive right as you're being broken down in its stomach.
Like John Voight. Ugh. Forget that.
Oh,
Anaconda.
and
A wink.
and then it spits
Why?
you back up.
And then you're half alive.
Yeah.
Half dead. Yeah.
No, I don't want that. I don't want to be digested.
And then you get anxiety because you're like this, you can't move. What is it that you have?
Claustrophobia.
So that, yeah, you're
And you're still
claustrophobic
alive
and
and you
you get
understand what's
anxiety.
happening to you.
Yes.
And even worse than claustrophobia is being eaten alive-ophobia. That shit, I hear that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So like you can either die from a heart attack from like being so scared and your anxiety and your heart beating so fast, or like getting eaten.
You know, they say that about people whose parachutes don't open up when they jump out of planes, that more than likely they died before they hit the ground because of anxiety and because their heart. How would you know that?
Yeah, where's their sample size?
Yeah.
Who are they surveying for this? It's like the old bear attack
There's
thing.
not much to tell. You know,
Like,
it's not that much to sample.
for bears, like this really works as a defense. Yeah, for the guys who made it out. What about the 10 who didn't? What did they do? They probably did the exact same thing.
Oh shit.
It's all Jim Gaffigan bit.
Brendan, I'm assuming, especially since you had notes on it, what have we left out on this conversation?
I was just saying, what was your guys' favorite death?
Out of the main 5?
Yeah.
Thor.
And not the Office stuff. That doesn't count. That was an action movie at the end. I loved that switch when they were like, it's just a flip switch. Right when she hits that red button, it's like, oh no, it's the movie Doom now. It's just bam.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
But for me, I'm sorry, Deb, you go first.
Me?
Yeah. Out of the 5.
So my favorite part of the whole movie was that when she presses the button. But my favorite kill was what you were going to say with Thor, because you don't expect it. He's all like, I'm going to go get help and I'm going to bring back a army and blah, blah, blah. And he goes on the bike and
what makes it even better is as he's falling and the force field lights up every time he hits it, dunk, 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 all the way down there. Dunk, dunk. Cobweb, what do you got? What's your favorite?
I'm gonna be sorry to say this too, but it's the exact same thing. That shit was fucking hilarious to me. I thought that it was dope. I just thought it really set the bar of where they were at, because it did 2 things. One, it let you know that you're not getting the fuck out of here, and 2, you're not in control of any of this shit, and you're a plant here for the purpose. At that point, that's when they realized we're fucked. We're completely fucked. You know, because once you see something like that, you come on, man.
How about you, Brendan?
That was mine. And they set it up early, like in the very beginning of the movie when they drive through the tunnel, that eagle just
and
it just loses when it hits it. So you kind of expect that it's going to happen. But when this movie came out, I remember watching this for the first time, probably a couple months after it came out. It's Chris Hemsworth. Like something's gonna happen. Like he's gonna fall on the lead up, right? Because they make a whole point They're like, oh, it's a clean run. You got a clean run. It's an easy jump. It's like a 5-foot differential between the two. It's like getting all technical with the jump. That's why I figured like somebody was going to come up behind him and like stop him from actually going, or something. Like something was going to prevent him, because I thought for sure he's making it to the end. But nope, just wet.
But also, like we said, when they filmed this, he was nobody.
Right, but I had already known him as Thor. I know him as this big movie star. So my expectation was like, oh, he'll probably make it to the end. Or
have you seen Red Dawn?
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing happens in Red Dawn. Just take out
older
Thor
brother.
in the middle of it.
Guns are pretty good. Yeah, not if you know anything.
Now I'm gonna have to go watch that movie.
It's a bad movie. You don't need to watch it again.
You know, the original Red Dawn at the time had the Guinness Book of World Records record for being the bloodiest movie of all time.
No way.
The physical amount of blood, the actual amount of blood that they had in the original Red Dawn made it the bloodiest movie of all time.
The one with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah.
Did it come out
Wolverine.
before RoboCop?
Yep.
Oh.
Did it come out before Evil Dead Rise? It was raining.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It rained. Oh, what's
How about
that
yours,
other one
Josh?
with
What was yours? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no,
the other one with the
Thor
trolls.
falling. What? Who? What? What are we
Troll
trolling?
2?
No, I was saying that. Yeah.
But that's not blood, isn't it? Green?
No.
I'm
And
lost.
Troll
no,
2.
the other
is
movie
like,
with a lot of blood. No, it was called with the
He's
red
talking
caps.
about
Oh, red caps.
Yeah.
With the that's I see what you're saying. The little trolls, the gnomes.
The gnomes, yeah, whatever they
Yeah,
call
red caps.
Yeah, they had a lot. That was raining blood too.
That was
So,
actually a good
I'm
movie.
trying I've never seen
Thank
Red
you for
Dawn,
picking that one,
so it must
Cobweb.
have a lot of blood in it. But
I was
I've never
gonna
seen
say
this movie you
something.
guys are talking about. I've never seen it.
You've never seen
Red
the
Dawn.
original Red Dawn or the remake?
The one with Sean Connery?
No,
that's
a
Red
Hunt for
October.
Red October.
Oh,
Red October standing by.
then no, I've not seen Red Dawn. I
You
didn't
need to
know
watch it.
I was like, what?
You're just throwing movies with red out in it now.
He's like,
It's like
red,
it's
red
like the scene.
October, red caps.
It's like
I
the
don't know
scene
what
from
Red
like
Dawn
the Family
is.
Guy Star Wars, where it's just like all the different reds. Simply red, standing by. Like
Cobweb's like, that movie with Sean Penn. I'm like, bro, that's colors.
milk.
Exactly.
But it has red in it. It has red in it, so it must be.
The King's Speech.
Wow. King's Speech. Oh shit. I don't even know where we're going with this.
Oh
So
man.
Joshua, what's your favorite part?
Yeah.
I said it when Thor goes down the force field, just lighting it up all the
It
way
makes
down.
the noise too. I love the noise.
beep,
Like
beep.
pling, pling.
And
That's what I
then you
get for
see
bringing up
him like
Red
his
Dawn.
arms and his
Yeah,
legs.
just
are, like,
flailing all over the place.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got a question for you
Oh, go ahead.
guys. Would you have killed old boy at the end if he was the
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Not even a hesitation. Just
That's
blam.
what I wanted to talk about. This movie brings up something we talk about on the pod. I mean, here's your chance to save everybody. You know, and you that's a separate thing. Your chance to save everybody by working there in the lab, in the office job or whatever, doing these horrible things to 5 people. Actually, 25 people around the world, or
Mhm.
you know. But yeah, taking out the one friend.
when the Tokyo one goes down and he's just yelling at the screen against those little
Oh.
girls.
At the kids. Yes.
Yeah,
Fuck you. Fuck you.
he was really upset about that.
I lost it because like the idea of a grown ass man screaming at little children.
At the children. They were going to cut that scene out. They
Oh.
didn't think it was going to play out well, and they weren't even going to show the entire. It's like an exorcism. Yeah, they weren't going to show that. I'm looking for it over here because I read it yesterday, and now I can't find it. But one movie is Dracula, one is Ringu or The Ring, the other one is King Kong, and I can't remember what the other movie was before the American slasher Friday the 13th Leatherhead style,
Which one was in Stockholm?
Oh yeah, Stockholm was The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so those were the different movie styles.
Oh, so this closes the loop on that, by the way.
How so?
Because at the end of the movie, the thing ain't there anymore. It's not there to do its job.
Well,
Dad. Uh-oh.
well, no. Because at a film festival, they asked Goddard or Goodard, or however you say his name, if there was going to be a sequel, and he was like, "Did you not watch the movie? That it's all encompassing. The world ended. There's no way to make a sequel. The movie, everything's done."
Yeah.
Oh,
Evil
I'm just
Overlord,
being
let's
silly.
give it a
I don't
shot.
think this plays into the thing. I just say, like, if that ended in this movie's universe, it means that he wasn't.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Even though there was no light in his eye or
No lights, and he's drinking the kerosene. I
Kerosene,
know.
yeah.
I know. I went into a deep dive after you guys did that movie. I went and did a deep dive. I started doing research, watching like different scenes.
Word?
Yeah.
for The Thing, yeah.
Yeah. I'd
Wow.
never watched it all the way through before you guys went through it. And I went through and back, and I was like, okay, now I have to know what's going on. So I was making sure, like, I was taking detailed notes as the movie went on. I still don't know. It seems like this is totally off topic, but it does seem like the fact that the jacket switch, there's a lot that leads to it. It makes a lot of sense that that's the thing. But in this movie,
I was waiting for Cobweb to come back on it. So now I want to. I want to jumping back to John Carpenter's The Thing. So Kurt Russell at the end.
Human.
Human. Okay. I disagree, but yeah.
You think they're both?
Yeah, I think they're both.
Oh.
But that's neither here nor there.
Matter.
Yeah, if there's one, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Cabin in the Woods. Would you work for the lab, for the corporation? And are they bad people? Are they evil for what they're doing?
At first, I thought they were bad, only because how they're celebrating and everything. But in order for you,
it's just a job
to have a job like that, you need to can't
separate.
Yeah. So I don't think. I mean, it's all for saving the world. So I don't really think that they're bad.
I think
what were you
they
going
were
to say,
good
Cobweb?
people. I think they're the good guys of this movie, honestly. So true. Because let me tell you something like that. The odds of the numbers that they would have produced, like say, oh, we saved 8 billion people, but we only killed 5 today, or 25. That odds right there, or that percentage is worth it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And who wouldn't take that? And the fact that you're doing this, it requires you to have like a special type of, abilities mentally to be able to deal with it. So you're putting yourself in understanding what you're doing. They were the good guys. I'm sorry, they were the good guys. They were the ones that were trying to save us from the evil and the darkness.
And the younger guy from the two main scientists, you could tell that he was kind of breaking a little bit when he was pointing out, what kind of a trooper she was and everything that she's gone through, and he's feeling real remorseful.
My lady.
Yes, and here comes the tequila, and then that changed everything.
Yeah, it did.
So this movie has one of the highest body counts ever.
That makes sense.
So it depicts 69 kills on screen.
Nice.
But it implies 6,873,741 and 54, which was the world's population in 2009.
Because it killed the world. The world ended, right?
Yeah, Jason X with your space station.
So now I have another question. So according to the director, the last hand that you see coming out is the Titan Kronos from Greek mythology.
Very cool.
Oh shit.
So when they talk about we got a call from up above, that's what caused the glitch. That's why they didn't blow the tunnel. Where's up above?
If you go with Greek mythology, it's going to be Zeus.
Zeus, right?
Yep. Oh, you know what it could have been like? Oh, what the Jokers with the Rainbow Bridge? That's what happened. Thor didn't make it to the Rainbow Bridge, and he died.
The Norse god.
Norse gods, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what it was.
He was on his way. That's who he was gonna go and get. He was gonna go get help, and they stopped him.
So there was something like I actually was really interested. I'm interested in a prequel. I normally don't want ever to see prequels because I hate knowing how it ends. But I'm interested in like how this stuff got created. And I know I've seen Star Wars. I know how that can go bad. But I am interested in how this kind of got set up. So I wouldn't mind seeing like an older version set like 200 years, 300 years before this, something like that.
Cool.
I think the post movie, I don't know if there's a lot to play with, but if you just take it to its logical conclusion with the Titans coming back, I think that could be a blast too.
Yeah, too bad MGM they sold the rights to the movie, but not to the story. And so as MGM faded, so did this. Which I mean, yeah, prequels for this would rock.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that there's, given as much time as they've had, right? So even if you just go with Greek mythology, let's talk about thousands of years. They've had thousands of years to perfect this process. You don't think they'd be able to find bad people? Or do they need good people for this? Like, do they have to sacrifice good people? Is that what it is?
Well, that's what they were saying, that I would think so, that they'd have to find semi-decent people. You're talking about the actual sacrifices?
Yeah.
Because whoever, so that was another thing.
They have the horde, and
gods,
it doesn't have a positive connotation.
But saying that they had to choose their own fate, their own destiny, and they were getting a kick out of that, and that's why the virgin it's optional for the virgin to survive at the end.
Yes.
But all that matters is that she goes through the pain and the torment. That means somebody's getting off to it. Somebody's enjoying the.
Yeah.
All right.
You think about it like that, Josh. Yeah.
I figured since they're cooking the books anyway, you know, they're adding in chemicals, they're doing all this stuff to make these people act stupid or act irrational and act bad, like irresponsible anyway. Why not just get people who are that way to begin with?
True.
You know, find people who are irresponsible, who are reprehensible, find like no good beings, and then put them in the situation anyway. And then, I mean, you get to do all this stuff, you get to sacrifice, and you don't feel bad about it.
Well, then going back to the other podcast to Cast the Pod where you made an appearance, Brendan, going to Predator, then there's no sport in it. And the Predator doesn't kill anyone who's not sport.
That's true.
Dude, listen to me. You know why they had to do that? Because these are the same people that had one switch to open every gate in the facility that you didn't need anything to do besides flick the cap over and push the button. So
you know what that
trust me.
You know what that was? We work in industry. We know exactly what that was. That was budget cuts near the end. They had to make it was either like a time constraint or budget cuts. They spent all their time on those weird cubes that went interchangeable and moving around and this whole facility. And they're like, oh crap, we don't have a security system. Like, I don't know. Put a button, we can't just have one button. Put a cover over it. Oh yeah, all right.
Didn't even do that.
Also, make it the easiest accessible button there,
you just
right
pick
in
it
the
up.
middle of everything. The one that if you accidentally fall asleep, you're going to hit with your forehead. The Homer Simpson button right there in the middle.
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's my
when you
only
guys were
kickback.
watching this movie, oh, go ahead.
No, I said that was my only kickback. That's the switch. It didn't make any sense.
When you guys were watching this as it went through, did you feel that the movie the fact that they jumped in and out of the horror segment of it, do you feel like that took you out of the movie or drew you in further? Because I'll let you guys talk about that.
Who wants to go first? I'll go.
I can.
For me, I was never
go
in the
ahead.
horror
Yeah.
side of the movie ever.
Okay.
Deb?
Yeah.
It didn't take me out. I think it put me more because I got to see both sides, like what was happening. So it caught my attention. It caught my attention, and I wanted to see more.
To me, I thought it was kind of like forced horror. Like because they have these characters that, and then it's a horror movie because you have the zombies because it's a horror movie because you have the giant snakes, it's a horror movie or something else like that. It really wasn't nothing beside that. The characters are what made it scary, and the whole concept. It was nothing, about the situation. It just seemed forced to me that it would be considered a horror movie and not just an action movie. That's just how
And you, Brendan?
So from my perspective, again, not being the horror aficionado, right? So that's not my forte. But for me, it drew me into the movie because it disarmed me a little bit. Because it's like, oh, hey, we're controlling this, so this is fake. But the horror elements were all still there, so it got me invested and made me want to see what was coming next. Like I wanted to see what was coming in. Like, what are they going to pick, or what's going to happen next? Whereas a lot of horror movies, they kind of put me off because the second somebody does something stupid, like I was like, okay, well, like, hey, the cops are going that way. Let's go into the scary forest the opposite direction. That's how we'll get away. Like that makes no like anytime somebody does that in a movie, I instantly lose respect for them. I'm like, you know what? You deserve to die.
But then that's exactly the Eddie Murphy bit on the chainsaw going off in the basement.
Yeah.
And, let's go find out what that is.
Yeah. Or we find an incantation written in Latin that will raise the dead. Let's read it.
Yeah.
But they set it up. They made them dumber. Remember?
Or
that
hey, look, there's an elevator with no doors. Let's go in there and see what it is.
Well,
you want to go in there?
They explained that too. She was like, "Where are we supposed to go?"
You gonna wait for the redneck torture family zombies to kill you, or just possibly maybe have a chance to get out?
Yeah, but still, you don't know what's down there.
The list of the creatures on the betting board were werewolf, alien beast, mutants, wraiths, zombies, reptilius, clowns, witches, sexy witches, demons, hell lord, angry molesting tree, giant snake, deadites. Well, the angry molesting tree and the deadites would be from Evil Dead.
Yes.
Mummy, the bride, the scarecrow folk, snowman, dragon bat, vampires, dismemberment goblins, sugar plum fairy, merman, the reanimated unicorn, Huron. The unicorn kill was pretty good.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
You didn't see the unicorn?
I saw the unicorn.
Oh.
I'm talking about
Sasquatch / Wendigo / Yeti, dolls, zombie redneck torture family, the doctors, jack-o'-lantern, giant, twins, and Kevin. Those were the bets on the board.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know how like they kept hearing the voices and they're like forcing them on what to do and stuff.
Yeah.
Towards the end, when they kill not the one that dies by the merman, but the other scientist.
Right.
And then he's what's her name kills him. She stabs him.
Yeah.
And he says, "Kill him," right? And she's just looking at him, and then she turns around, and then the friend, the Shaggy, gives her the gun and says, "This will make it easier." Is he talking about is he talking about himself? Like, did they tell him to say that?
I think he was sacrificing himself, and then she didn't go along with it, and he was like, I think.
But then later on, when she had the gun pointed to him, he was like, "Really?"
True.
Yeah, so that's why it flips with me. I thought because she stabbed him, and that's her first time killing anything. It's like traumatic, and then he tells her like, "Here, use this. It'll be easier."
That's what I
thought. In case she needs to kill somebody else, it's easier to kill that way instead of getting up close and personal. And
yeah, I don't know if he heard him say "kill him."
Oh, okay.
So what you said was what the director's showing you. Like, yeah, like this is like a foreshadowing. So yeah, that's what I thought too the first time I saw that.
She should have killed him
like,
right in there.
Yeah. You know what was
really
cool
instantly.
too? I thought it was funny.
What's that?
The spot when they were doing the bets for it, and they sit up there like they got a board going on or what it was, and I think it was the guys from accounting one or something like that or whatever it was. Maintenance.
I thought it was
they all won. And they had to split it with the intern.
Yeah.
Right. And then that black chick, right. And she's get up and she's like, "Wait, I had this too." They was like, "No, they had redneck zombies."
You just had regular zombies.
Just regular plain old zombies.
Oh, maybe next time.
Right. That's good.
Little that they know. So it's you and one other person, and the other person, y'all have to one of y'all have to sacrifice. Would you do it? Say you're in Shaggy's position.
I personally would
myself
to save everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand from his perspective why he didn't. They set that up early in the movie. Remember, like when he's high as all get out, and he's talking about it. He's like, they're controlling the puppet masters. They're controlling the world. They don't want to let it burn. Like they're too afraid to let it burn. So from his perspective, he's just like, yeah, screw it. It's over. We've had a good run. So I get it from his perspective, but no, like instantly, if I knew that saves everybody, yeah.
I would too.
Kind of like what Brendan's saying right there. Marty's character was like, the world is evil. Everything's messed up. Might as well, start over and everything like that. But for me personally, knowing that there's still some good people out there, knowing that there's some innocent kids out there, yeah, I'd bite the bullet and sacrifice myself to save the I mean, the world's screwed, people are screwed, but there's still some worth saving.
Who knows? Maybe in the next 1,000 years they'll find a better process.
Yeah, maybe.
They better, because I don't think I would have done it. I don't think I would have done it. Let me tell you, because what am I getting out of it? What am I getting out of it? If I sacrifice myself, what am I getting? I mean,
well, you can die with them, or you can die for them.
That's going to be
out of it. I mean,
well, either way, you're going to die.
Right.
That's going to be the next. That's going to be the next cast of the pod shirt. It's going to be a picture of Cobweb, and on top it's going to say "fuck them."
What do I get out of it?
I mean, what am I getting here? Am I going directly to heaven here or something else like that? Or because I made a sacrifice is considered, me that I did something to myself where I unalived myself?
No, because the other person had.
Well, now if we're getting into the movie moral conundrum of that, I mean, if you're only doing something to get into heaven, and that's the only reason you're making your sacrifice, following movie tropes, you're not going to get it.
See, now that makes me feel bad.
Man, I don't like that.
No, because I thought there's a reason why we was being nice so that we could get there, but now it's like you can't be nice, you can't not want to be nice. It's too much work, man.
Man, if it's Zeus and Kronos, you ain't going there anyway.
Yeah,
right. You got to give me something nice to say, like, hey, if you do this, when you get there, you're gonna be really cool, or something's gonna happen.
So if Sigourney Weaver lied to you, you would have done it?
I don't think so, man.
Then.
I'm not saying I like being Cobweb.
So, Cobb, I have a question for you. So you're not gonna sacrifice yourself because what's in it for you, right? So you're like, where am I gonna go afterwards. But not sacrificing yourself, wouldn't that be like being selfish and you let the world die? So that's being bad also.
What about this? That what if you go there and because you sacrificed yourself, you had to go and deal with those jokers with the hand down there for eternity? You know.
Well, no,
But
because
if you did,
you're not doing it to yourself. You're like, okay, go ahead. Somebody else is doing it to you. That's different.
but you're allowing them to do it. That's the same
I'm
thing.
lost.
Well, it's not that you're allowing them. But either way,
All I heard was there's a big hand down there, and then I hear you're letting people do stuff to you, or you're not doing stuff to yourself. That's all I heard. That's all I got out of that conversation.
That's because me and Deb have this understanding, Josh. I understand. I've listened to enough of Deb's explaining to where I understand this woman here of yours.
I've been married to her for 30 years. I don't understand her. We speak 6 languages between the two of us, and none of the languages.
Like you guys have different dialects of each language that you understand.
Yeah, we can't understand each other in any of the languages.
Oh, I only understand from this region. That's it.
Even our math don't mix.
Oh, you're using base 10? Oh man, I can't do base 10. Ridiculous. Hexadecimal for me all day.
There you go.
No, I think if you go with the mythology of the movie with Kronos, I wish they could explore this some more because I didn't even think about that, but that does make sense. Like this is they're in Tartarus. It's not even a prison. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but in Greek mythology, they lock them in Tartarus, and this is keeping the gate locked. That's pretty cool. Like that's a cool concept to explore, and you don't even have to make the second movie a horror movie. You can put horror elements in it. You can make it go full action. It's so cool.
I mean, it could have been one of the God of War games. But
yes,
that's true too.
I mean, Cronus is in there, but it is anyways. Oh man, is it time, Cobweb?
It's that time, Josh. Yep, bring out the calculator of doom, bro. We got new graphics.
Yeah, I was gonna say our purposely cheeseful. I like that. I don't know why. All right, Brendan, you're the guest today, so you can pick. Do you want to go first or last?
I'll go last.
Okay. Who's up first?
I'll go first.
All right, Deb.
So after I saw this movie the first time, I really liked this movie. I watched it, half of it last night, watched the rest of it today, and I was like, I was going to give it a number, but then since we've been talking about it, it made me raise my number. So I'm going to give this movie a 9. After all the discussion and everything, and I'm understanding it a lot more too, and with Brendan, I want to see more. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.
All right. Going counterclockwise now, Cobweb.
I am going to give this movie an 8. I couldn't find the 8 card, so I got a 7 and a 1. I'm gonna
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
I'm gonna bring props.
I mean, what do you want, people? Right,
that's awesome.
All right, it's hard finding stuff in this basement, So I give it an 8 because I enjoyed it. I would have probably got like a 9 or something like that if it was more horror. But I like the concept that the character stuff, the trope stuff, and everything like that. It was pretty cool, and I did like how they paid like homage to a lot of our horror movie, folklore icons and stuff like that. The concepts behind it. I thought that was really cool that they did it like that. So I'm gonna give it a good 8.
Nice. So agreeing with Cobweb and Deb, this movie being self-aware and everything that goes on in here. But not only that, just on my own personal side of it, this is something I can have playing in the background while I'm doing something else. And at the same time, it's something where I could just stop and be completely taken off a track on what I'm doing and watch the movie and pay attention to it at the same time. So I'm giving this movie a 9. I was gonna give it a 10, but it's not exactly perfect. But yeah. You know what? Nah,
What?
go ahead, Brendan. Go ahead.
Are you gonna give it a 10?
I want to, because it even has boobs.
It does. It does.
And those boobs were rated in the top 15 boob scenes in that year. Yeah, just in that year, not in all
Nice.
time, but in that year. It's actually it's on IMDb, so you know that means it's true.
She should be proud.
I'll stay with the 9. I'll stay with the 9. What do you got, Brendan?
So similar to you, I really did like that they played with the genre without overdoing it. There's a lot of movies where they try to be referential, right? They try to play on tropes, and then they try to get away with doing those tropes in the movie. You know, like there's like, oh, that sounds like a bad movie script, and they do that whole thing.
Yes.
That sounds like something from a really bad movie. But that's from Top Secret, by the way. There's movies that overdo it, and it wears on me, and I don't like that. That's not an excuse to make a bad movie, just by pointing out tropes. This, I thought it did all of the things that it was supposed to do. It kept me interested through the whole movie. The only thing that I didn't like about it was the way they wrapped it up. I felt like they could have done a little bit more in the ending. I gave it a 9. It was close to being a 10. I just felt like the conclusion, there could have been a little bit more depth. And part of me, it's because I want more. Like I wanted them to explain more. And if they got time to maybe do a sequel, I could go back and then rate this a 10 because they got to complete it. But 9.
No, I almost divided by 3 right now, Forza Habit. So the movie got an 8.75. Not bad.
So it's a 9.
It's a 9.
That's pretty good.
I was gonna say right now also the biggest we've been throwing trope out there a lot, but the biggest trope in the movie, and it actually paid off well, was the merman. Because like he says it like 3 or 4 times. I really wish I could have seen a merman. Yeah,
He
it would
was
have been
like-
cooler with a merman.
Oh yeah,
And he on one of the parts he even looks sad.
Yeah, because he didn't get it, and he tells him he had the conch right there in his hand. He's like, yeah, but they're too messy to clean up. The cleanup's horrible. And then what happens? They show that the cleanup's bad because he blowholes all his blood and guts out of him.
Oh man, there was a part in the movie that I just remembered, and now the old guy that they talk to, they make fun of him. Yeah, they make fun of him. That's like such a classic thing.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I on speakerphone?
He's so serious. Like the demons, they want more. And like I don't remember what line for line, but he's so serious and concerned. And he's like, they will rue the day. And then he's, am I on speakerphone?
That's not right. You should warn somebody when you do something like that.
Oh, it's off now.
And it's still on.
And
We're all laughing.
It's like, oh no, Hart, sorry about that, bud.
I forgot about that part.
I wonder where the
That was good.
first Harbinger type character, what movie it was. Because Deb and I love going to this place here in Texas, right around Bastrop, called the Gas Station. And it's the actual gas station from the 1970s Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They don't have the rights to do what they're doing out there. And there's been some lawsuit stuff since the character has been switched between companies and all that.
Hey,
But
it's Texas.
Yeah, but it's the actual building from the actual gas station from the movie and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of our favorite places to go, and they have great barbecue.
Yeah. That's
This
funny.
podcast not sponsored by the gas station, but shit, if you want to give us some free stuff, a couple of sandwiches, some shirts.
Yep.
Josh, I would not want to eat any barbecue at a place that's based off Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's good.
I'm just
But it's good.
saying, I'm not doing that. What do they have? Like little chicken fingers, you know?
No,
like,
just brisket, sausage,
yeah. And Texas
chili.
Chainsaw Massacre, what was they doing with those people? Making chili?
I had that poster, man. It's worth so much money now. Yeah, I wish I would have had it. It's the life size of the Excalibur chainsaw, which is that giant chainsaw, and on top of it, starting on the top left hand corner, it just says all the way across, just R's. And when you get to the end of it, right, there's a bowl of chili, and it goes Yeah, I had that as a kid.
Oh, that's so corny.
Yeah.
That is
So if you
wow.
look, I was just curious.
What'd you find?
It goes back, man. Like this movie, I actually saw in film study. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
I've heard of it and have not seen it.
It's not bad. It's gonna take some focus because it's a silent movie, so it's not gonna have the same entertainment value that we have today. But I do remember that movie, and there is someone in that movie. That's like one of the first horror movies.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's been a trope since the very beginning. And then obviously Dracula, you know, Nosferatu, that's in there too.
Yeah.
So that's like these tropes have been around forever.
Yeah.
That's why they're tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. That's good.
Now on a brisket sandwich.
Where is the best brisket in the United States?
Oh, I don't know. I heard it was. I heard it was in Kansas City, but when we went to Kansas and we had their amazing barbecue, quote unquote, amazing barbecue. Yeah, I wasn't too. Yeah. Yeah.
I was in Texas for a little while, and when I was out there was a good barbecue place that me and the wife went to. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It was on my Instagram page, but it was really good. I think that it's, you know, Texas is pretty good. You guys get fresh meat out there, man. I mean,
it's everywhere.
That's why it tastes so good. You know, I've had a burger out there in Texas, and it definitely doesn't taste the same as the burger out here.
Yeah, because our cows are tired because there's so much area to walk around and.
They pull up to the slaughterhouse themselves. They're like, listen, man, it is hot and I'm just tired. I'm done.
They're like, it's November and it's 102. Get me out of here.
I appreciate this whole free range thing. I'm done. Give me a roof, please.
Last week, we had what, 2.5 days of cold?
2.5 days of
40
low
degrees.
40s, high 30s.
Oh.
And then yesterday it was what, like 96, 97?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that too.
You believe these dudes?
Yeah, I mean, it got down into the 20s here. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cold that week. That day week we were talking about, they got real cold.
It snowed on Halloween
like 30
here.
degrees out here in Chicago. Yeah, it snowed.
We had
here.
sleet.
So I don't want snow, but I want it to not be 98 degrees.
You can't. It's one or the other. You can't shoot. You can't have anything in between. You either get snow or 100.
People make fun of us. People make fun of us here for it. But the first like 2 days that it drops under 32 degrees, like everything shuts down, schools close, and everything like that. And I appreciate it. I really do.
I did too.
Well,
because
you guys don't have the infrastructure to like take care of, like salt the streets and get the plow trucks out there. It's hard on the power system.
Yeah, and all these assholes on the road just are still driving like it's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
I never looked at it that way. I never did. I thought you guys were just soft.
This weather report brought to you by Cast of the Pond.
That's California. There is a difference between Texas and California. Those people are soft. Like
the
Southern California.
Wait, do we have any listeners in California? Hold on, let me bring up
yes,
the stats.
We do.
Oh, I
Oh, yes,
love.
we do. Yes, we do.
I lived in San Diego for a long time. I would live back there again in a heartbeat. I love it. It's one of my favorite places in the country. Some of the best people I've ever met. Some of the best weather, best things to do. Love that place. They can't handle weather, rain, and we don't need milk that bad. We'll just wait it out. It drizzles and people just don't drive.
Okay, so analytics brought to you by Cast of the Pod. 60% of
This
our
is where we're at
listeners,
today, Lizzo.
60% of our listeners are from Texas. 12% of our listeners are from Colorado. 7.3 from California. 7.3 from Illinois. And then everything else is Indiana, Arizona, Virginia, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. And that's just going through America.
Baltimore.
So yeah, we definitely.
Yeah.
Baltimore had they had good barbecue when I was there. Sorry, you just reminded me. and now I'm hungry.
Hey,
Talking about brisket.
That's perfect for Cast of the Pod. Random thought, completely off.
Yeah, Baltimore.
right?
We were there. There's a
is.
famous place that was had really good barbecue. That was good. I still think Texas probably has the best barbecue in general. I think it's the most palatable across the board. Like I've never had bad barbecue in Texas. Let's put it that way.
We like barbecue so much that we have fast food barbecue locations.
Yeah.
Like every
That's
4
unreal.
miles. So now that I'm looking at it, for the past month and a half, 10% of our listeners are from the UK.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Got to be the
Big
intro.
shout out there.
Yeah, it's the intro.
Makes them feel like they're at home.
This is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see the drop off rate after the intro. But all right.
Uh-oh.
So what happened?
Nothing. I'll tell you later.
Uh-oh. All right, that means our dogs are fighting in the front room because Deborah's in the front room.
It's gonna be one of them nights.
Yep. But all right, I think we're done. I think we're done. What do you think? What do y'all think?
Did we forget anything? Did we leave off
I'm good,
anything?
man.
I'm sure. I know I did.
No, we covered pretty much all the interesting stuff in the movie. That's for sure. I don't think we really explored in depth the barbecue situation, but this is not the episode about the best barbecue.
Cold weather driving in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find something. We got that. Honestly, the best barbecue is at my house. Sorry.
Steamboat's pretty good around here.
Brendan, before you logged in earlier, we were having a conversation. And Cobweb, what were you saying about your roast? How much did it weigh?
It was 7 pounds. I made a 7
Cobweb's
pound
talking
roast
about
over
the
weekend.
7 pound roast and how over the weekend, right?
Yeah, I made it Saturday, and there's none left. The girls ate it all.
And I'm telling them down here in Texas, where we're larger people, we're a little bit heavier. We'll make a 16, 20 pound brisket, and that that's for like 8
Lunch.
people, and by the end of the party, it's gone. It's just just by the end of the football game.
It's a lot.
It's like, I mean, Chicago. We do not have small people in Chicago, man.
No. We don't. Testify.
We are famous for some of the like most calorie dense food in the country.
Oh
The
man.
pizza and the pizza, the Italian beef.
Oh Lord.
The pizza puff. The pizza puff. That's a dangerous thing right there.
Oh my god. I'm
I don't
so
know how to
hungry
end
now.
the podcast. Now I'm hungry.
All right, I gotta give me some dinner. I'm hungry. That's it. Everybody's listening to this podcast and they're getting hungry now, just like me. I haven't eaten yet.
All right.
Good.
There we got off.
Thank you, Brendan, for coming out on the podcast. Thank you for sponsoring. We being a Patreon pod person, Club 3P. I know on YouTube you can just search for Upkick MMA.
That's right. Yeah, if you guys are interested in MMA, boxing, sometimes wrestling, if Cobweb has got me a little bit into that recently, I cover those things on there. I do in-depth breakdowns of those things. I am just a huge movie fan, so unrelated to this. If you are into those things as well, come over and check it out.
Yes, definitely. Cobweb, anything you want to close out with?
I'm good. I'm just hungry. We got it. I'm hungry.
All right, y'all. So until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Cobweb.
I'm Deb.
I'm Brendan. Thank you guys so much for letting me be on here. I appreciate this so much. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And to all the listeners, thanks for listening to us. We're Cast the Pod. You have been warned.
Bye, everybody.
Deuces.